Hey guys, I finished the build. A little tight. I got some 2203.5 1650 kV Mamba motors on here, 6S. I got the DYS F7 30x30 stack put on this extreme Racer X FPV drone, and I had to use an adapter. I do have pictures. I'm gonna line up the pictures in the video to show you what I went through on that. I mounted my VTX to the top. I drilled holes, put Teflon screws in there to protect the FC from shorts in case I get hit. But I do have metal screws in the stack. I'm gonna change them out to Teflon later on. Hopefully I don't fry anything before then. I did use the Nano V3 camera HD0 in this, and the Race 2 VTX mounted in that. I got everything set up working fine. Got video OSD, BAYrc elrs receiver in there. Antennas mounted fine in the back. I got close clearance on the antenna up over the props, so hopefully I don't get a prop bent up to knock my little antenna off later on. But right now it's pretty tight in there. So this is a tight little build. Ain't nothing but stack, motors, and battery on this thing. So I hope it flies well. I think it's going to be a little rocket. I was unable to get the DYS F7 VTX switch to work, which is on the diagram, but everything else is working fine. I went ahead and set up pit mode so I can, turn down my VTX to hopefully not overheat on the race line waiting. And it looks pretty tight. Everything's good. I'm free of shorts. I got the receiver mounted up under the ESC in between the 20x20 to 30x30 TPU mount, and it's right in between the ESC and that mount to protect it. And so I could get me a small battery strap in between the 20x20 mount too as well to hold my 6S battery in there. I fly a bunch of different size batteries, and that's why I like doing this. But I got clearance on my battery. It's gripping good, so hopefully that holds up well. But I was maiden this thing today, see how well it does, and we'll see how it goes. So hopefully I'll line those videos up and I'll finish it. But this is a part 2 video to show you what the DYS F722 stack has with the AM32 firmware on the ESC, and it is a 2 to 8S ESC on there. The flight controller, like stated in the first video, supports up to 8 motor outputs, so that's a good thing. I just got to figure out why the VTX switch isn't working off of that plug, and I'm working with them right now to do that, and I'll come back and note in the comments later if I get that to working. But for right now it doesn't matter that much. I tested all the motors, got them all the right directions. OSD's working and everything seems fine, and I think it's good to go for a maiden. Just see how it does, and then I'm going to zip tie my motor wires down later. I like to run them in so they're protected when I hit gates and things of that nature, so they're wrapped around, they're pretty protected, and got a little slack in them just so they're not pulling on the flight controller or anything of that nature, getting any extra vibrations in there. But we'll maiden it and let you know how it goes. AM32, I did not test that yet to check and see what all the settings were set on it, but the flight controller did come flash to beta flight 4.5, and I did use the user 1 to try to attempt to use the VTX switch like on the previous flight controller I've reviewed, the Goku stack, which works right out the box. But I can't get this one to work so far. But we'll come back and edit that later when I figure that out. I just didn't want to have the time to put into it right now to get it going. But I just want to see what this stack has and how it flies. And we'll come back with that review. So right here, the Racer X Extreme has 20x20 mounting holes, so I had to use the stack TPU mount to put the 30x30 in. You can see I drilled out some holes. You can pause it wherever you want to take a look and see whatever specifications and modifications I made. I do have the stack in here, drilled out holes in the canopy, and to put the VTX on my little mount, my little TPU mount I made for VTXs. And there you see it there, and it has all kind of configurations on it, 20 by 20, 25 by 20. And it fits in well. Race V2 VTX in, Nano V3 camera in. I had to push it forward because of the 30 by 30 stack just to get its clearance. Everything is looking fine and tight, and you can see here I run my camera wires up under, run my antenna wires up under for protection, and they kind of mount on top of the little TPU mount for protection. Got it all wired in. Plugged into the first plug on the DYS F7 stack for the receiver, and I put the VTX into the VTX plug with 12 volts. So I'm running 5 volt on the receiver, 12 volt on the VTX. See here, fully build, done, ready. Looks pretty good. I think it's going to be a great little drone. Alright guys, this is the first little maiden. The ESC was a little jittery off takeoff, but then it smoothed out and everything seems locked in, and no hot motors at the end of the flight. But you can just take a look at it. I think I had one little section with a little prop wash. Other than that, this thing was pretty locked in for just some simple flying. So this DYS F722 stack with the AM32 seemed to like it pretty well. The motors were not hot. On 6S I wouldn't even hardly warm with this just a little punching and flying around the backyard. And you know, the HD0 goggles records the sound, so you'll be hearing that the rest of the video, but you can watch it and see what you think. But overall, it wasn't jittery, and I think it's going to be a great stack.